A good day to everyone. Today we will talk about Mr. 7 Bucks, none other than 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿, a professional mixed martial artist who holds a record of 11 wins, 4 losses, an all-rounder type fighter who is known for his nickname, The Answer. So let's get down to business. Here's the story of 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿. The story of 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿. Born in the small Zimbabwean city of Masvingo, 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿 had the odds stacked against him at a young age when he lost both his parents by the time he was 13 years old. Following his father's death, 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿 sought desperate measures to provide for himself, and at the age of 16 he would often try to illegally mine diamonds, which nearly resulted in the young Zimbabwean being killed by attack dogs after he was confronted by the police. In the early 2000s, millions of Southeast Africans were left on the verge of death after a famine nearly broke out due to recurrent droughts. 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿 was one of the millions affected and decided to risk crossing the border into a much safer South Africa, which resulted in him being deported back to Zimbabwe. In an interview with 𝐓𝐶𝐞𝐦𝐿 TV in 2020, 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿 described his treacherous journey to South Africa, which sounds like something straight out of a movie. "It was just like a decision, either you want to be here, or you want to be there," said 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿. "I didn't have a passport. I came through the river. It was just one of those times you take the sacrifice, which is dangerous to do. A lot of people died. For a young guy the first was 17 about to turn 18, it was very difficult. It just showed me what kind of person I was. I got deported on the same day I arrived in South Africa, and they deported me back to Zimbabwe. I got caught because I didn't have a passport, they put me in a cell. When I got to the border, that's where this thing of me never giving up in life, and everything started. I decided when they deported me and put me on the bus. They deported us around 4 to 5 p.m. in the evening. By 7 p.m. I was back in South Africa illegally. The second time was way harder because I almost got killed. Obviously in the diamond field I used to see lots of nasty things. It was like Blood Diamond, 2006 film, basically. People used to get killed in front of me while running from the police. But this was the first time someone actually held a knife on me. When you cross illegally into South Africa, it's not just the police you are running from. You are also running from criminals. They rob people crossing because they know you have money. The criminals saw us and trapped us. I remember seeing this big knife and I passed out. It's like a movie. I fell on the ground and the rest of the guys ran away. The guys who were robbing us ran after them and left me there. When I came back to normal, I realized there was a fence. I decided I have to go. I ran towards the police to get arrested, not killed. But midway I saw one of the guys I was with. He said, "No, don't go to the police, let's go." I made my way into South Africa. 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿's arrival on the UFC scene. We've all pictured ourselves in an action movie before. For 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿, however, he made a movie his reality after he was inspired to become an MMA fighter after he watched the 2008 fighting film Never Back Down. I watched Never Back Down and I checked it out and thought, this is a sport, fighting is a sport. I think I can do this. I started MMA when I was 19, and it was about being cool and protecting myself. I also started as my cousins would pick on me as I was the smallest, so I thought I have to do something. I come from a fighting family. All my cousins, even my father before he died, and his brothers used to fight. I got my first fight after 3 months of training. I won it with a 7-second knockout. 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿's resilience and hard work in and outside of the cage made him one of the biggest MMA prospects in Africa. With more and more African MMA fighters dominating local promotions and becoming more present in America, the UFC decided to take a chance and signed him earlier this year. The Answer arrived in America with just $7 in his bank account prior to his debut in the UFC. It's often a common theme that when 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿 looks like his luck has run out, he often comes out on top, and that's exactly what happened. After he lost on his UFC debut, 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿 returned to the octagon to defeat Takeshi Sato via unanimous decision. With 𝐜𝐫𝐞𝐬𝐿 sleeping on the couch in his gym, you would think that he would use his $7,000 prize money to find a place of his own to live. Instead, however, he used his prize money from his win against Sato to build a water pump in his native Zimbabwe, as he never wants children to face the circumstances he had to live with when he was young. Garimbo's emotional life story soon caught the attention on social media, and it wasn't long until Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson reached out to the Zimbabwean fighter. The Rock and Garimbo's relationship. The former WWE superstar and now Hollywood royalty has openly talked about his struggles when he was younger and how he sacrificed so much to reach WWE, something he and Garimbo have in common.